about there. It should be okay. A little background music for us. Come on, man, it's Thursday. You know, I gotta, like, be happy and stuff. Like, you know, happiness, joy. Let the music finish playing though. It's the 80s. Bringing it back. It needs to be brought back. Trying to finagle some shit over here. There we go. I think I've got it. By George, I think he's got it. Where's everybody at? Where are you people? Come on. It's a little Thursday night party. Let's get the jam session going, you know, and jump up and down and sing songs. As soon as the song ends, I'm gonna tell you some things. It's an interesting day I had. It's quite interesting. Now on your way in, if you could kindly leave a like. And perhaps if you are new to the channel, you might want to subscribe. We've got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of stuff. It's going to be changing. The structure of the channel. The way things go, or we're going to make this, what are we going to make this? We're going to make this the start of a new journey into the beginnings of fun and happy Omen. An Omen that enjoys fun stuff, like smiling and laughing, running around, being happy, not drinking alcohol. Because alcohol is not my friend. I thought he was my friend. He would tell me he was my friend. Come here. Let me help you drown your sorrows in me. I'd listen to his ass, and next thing I know, I'm raving like a madman. Not a very good look. Now we're gonna stop the music there. Thank goodness I'm not monetized, because I can... Hey, what up, Millie? How you doing? This is a banana smoothie. Made it myself out of banana and some milk and some sugar. Golden sugar. Look for it in your bakery aisle. They have golden sugar, less processed. Normally sugar is really brown, but you know, go to Baltimore and the harbor. Take the pirate cruise. When you take the pirate cruise, you'll go around the whole little harbor there, and you'll see the Domino's factory, and you'll wonder why there's a huge smokestack and mad smoke coming out of it. And you're thinking to yourself, it's just sugar they're making. Well, a lot of chemicals go into making sugar crystally clear white. It doesn't come that way. It's not natural. Cane sugar, on the other hand, is probably as brown as I am or browner. Much more natural flavor. It's delicious. It's very good, Millie. It's delicious. And it's good for you too. While I was at Kilo's house, I started like this fruit cleanse thing, which I don't do fruit cleanses very often because I'm allergic to fruit, so especially bananas. My mouth is gonna be itching, probably gonna break out in hives. You guys are gonna see my face start swelling up. Maybe. It doesn't always end that way, but sometimes it does. Hopefully it doesn't, because I don't want that to happen. It would be terrible. A hideous monster transformation in front of your faces. You're wondering, is the full moon out? What's going on with Omen? He's scratching at himself profusely. This man is changing before our eyes. You see me disappear off camera for a second. I come back, my whole shit. Because you know what? The health benefits outweigh the annoying itching that's going to happen from it, which it's already happening. It's just like superficial. It's like, roses are wonderful, but they have thorns. So eventually someone's going to get pricked picking them. So why do we pick them if they have thorns? Because they're pretty. People like them. This is healthy. And I need healthy stuff pumped in my system right now to drive out the poisons and negative things that have laid inside of my system for very long. I figured, hey, what better way than fruit? It won't. Now, see, I don't suffer from like anaphylactic shock or none of that craziness. Most of my allergies are just the itchy, break you out in hives kind. And basically, it's because your body doesn't tolerate it. If you do it enough, either you'll tolerate it or you'll get used to it. Me, I've gotten used to it. I worked on orchards, which is like the worst thing in the world for me to do, because not only does it bother me if I eat it, but certain plants, when I touch them, instant hives, shingles even. It's craziness. Imagine working at a farm and everybody's just staying away from you and you don't know why. Nobody wants to work with you. And then you realize that you look like a monster. You come in looking one way and halfway through the day you just don't look right. Your face is just welts everywhere. I'm getting stung by like killer bees and shit. Well, not killer bees, let me stop lying. It was more like wasps, yellow jackets, and hornets. And them shits hurt. They hurt bad. I'm gonna tell you something about working on an orchard, y'all. Beyond the fact that it is very physical work, it sucks, especially in the beginning before you actually start picking fruit. Like when you gotta do all the weeding, you're out in a big field, right? Crack of the ass morning, dew on the ground, maybe it's wet, and all you smell is urine, deer urine, freaking bobcat urine, whatever kind of urine there is, you smell it all, and it smells terrible. And your hands and knees pulling up weeds in the dirt, and then they give you gloves, which honestly don't give you the grip you need, which is why farmers have dirty ass fingers, because those gloves don't do shit. They slow you down, right? And this dude's orchard was like one of those old ass, like 50 years in the family, 100 years existed orchards. So they wanted to stick with the old, nostalgia of everything, because, they let people come pick. So it's like, we're going to have you guys picking apples in old school gear. Yes, old school bushel barrels. Now, these things, you wear them around your chest like a book bag on the front, though, right? Has this little wooden box. It's like a wooden basket. But on the bottom of it's like a burlap or canvas sack with strings. You tie it, pull them up over these little hooks that cut the shit out of you all day. All day. It's not comfortable at all. A bushel of apples is 40 pounds. Now, me being myself, I'm like, how much can this thing hold? It can hold 80. You can hold 2 bushels, and they don't suggest you do that. But me, I'm not trying to be going up and down trees like 20 times when I can do it only 10. So me, I'm coming down with like 80 pounds fucking worth of apples. They used to call me Applejack. Dead ass serious. Not lying to you. Because they throw me on a row with a trailer to myself. I have like 120 bushels by the end of the day. Just me. You know what I'm saying? Just me. And they would try to pair me with people and shit. And I would get mad. Because these dudes want to sit here and talk while we're working. Now, there are certain jobs you can run your mouth talking. Then there's jobs you need to shut the fuck up and just do your job. Farming is one of those jobs you need to shut the fuck up and do your shit. Because honestly, it's up, down, picking heavy, walk down a row, dumping barrels of apples, and you gotta do it delicately. You can't just, no. Now I could be telling you, I picked 120 bushels of apples, And anybody who's working on an orchard is like, well, how many of those bushels were actually usable? There's a science to picking apples. It's not like you think. It's not like you just grab it, pull it down. No, that's what made it even worse. That's why I'm like, there's no way I'm only coming down with fucking 40 pounds of apples. You bitches is crazy. I'm getting as many as I can before I come down this fucking tree. I gotta be sitting here delicately cradling the apple in my hand like this, twisting it ever so lightly to make sure that the twig or stem, whatever that thing is called, I forget. There's a stamen. No, that's what you call it. It's got a specific name. You know, you can't call it layman's terms. You gotta call it farm shit. You know, because that's the only language they know. They don't have to know 1 plus 2, but they'll tell you some shit about some soil and air nitrogen mixture. Have your ass thinking these motherfuckers are scientists. And you ask them, like, a simple question like, oh, what's unleaded gasoline cost these days? Duh. They don't know that shit, but some motherfuckers know some soil shit. I'm telling you, I seen shit on farms, man, you wouldn't believe. Like, what real carrots look like. They don't look anything like the shit you buy in stores. Not at all. They look more like this. A gnarled, curled up bunch of little knots that are orange. But people wouldn't buy them if they look like that. So what they do to get carrots to grow that way is they grow them in sand. Hydroponically, they feed them water. They grow them in sand so that there's no obstructions. But naturally, a root grows around rocks and harder soil, so it's not going to grow straight down like some shit Bugs Bunny is chewing on. What's up, Dad? And there's no such thing as baby carrots. Baby carrots are just baby cut portions of carrot that are polished and shaved in a way to make them look like little miniature carrots, which, like I said, if you've seen carrots in real life, or roots for that matter, like the root of a tree doesn't grow straight down. Why the fuck would a root grow straight down? Like, how easy would it be to pull that out? Could you imagine a whole giant tree with a root that looks like a carrot? Imagine that. Like, you could lean on it and the shit would eventually tip over and fall. A good windstorm, that shit's coming straight out the ground. Who knows where it's landing? And then it's got some little sharp carrot point, but it's wood tree. It's gonna land on somebody's house like a fucking stake through a vampire's heart. And that's it. Done. No need for the garlic. Toss the sunlight out the window. Straight up tree steak. Done. But I learned another thing working on the farm. You know, me being a hard worker and shit, I didn't like to take breaks. So I'm in that field from the time I get there to the time the sun goes down in the fucking nighttime mountain lion. Yes, there was a mountain lion that roamed that area. I used to have a picture of it the day it came out, and I seen that shit about 200 yards away from me. And I'm not gonna lie, if I had anything in my stomach, I would have shit my pants. I felt the feeling of what you probably feel like when you shit your pants. Like your whole stomach just drops. It feels like this, like you're on a roller coaster, right? You're at the top. You know what I'm saying? Stops. You know the suspense is coming. You know it's coming, right? You know it's coming. You know you're about to drop. Just like I felt like this fucking thing was gonna eat me. So, you know, your stomach does that. Something comes up. Stuff goes down. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a natural mechanism to save you, perhaps. I guess if you throw up and shit at your ass at the same time and you smell terrible, maybe the animal won't eat you because it'll think you're already dead. But then I'm thinking to myself, what about the scavengers? Yeah, I've seen turkey vultures. Them shits don't give a fuck if your ass is half dead, stinking, or rotten. Them motherfuckers fly out of a tree. Shit flew out of a tree in front of me to get a raccoon. Right? A raccoon. Swooped down. I'm like, oh shit. Jumped into the middle of the street, almost got hit by a car. Right? Now, mind you, this farm was far from my house. I live in Connecticut. This farm was in Cheshire. I live in New Haven. Totally different places. It took like an hour and a half on the bus. It was like another hour and a half walk 2 miles down this road. It's terrible. Summertime. Hot. Sun. baking you. Bees everywhere. It's just like in the beginning, because I hated bees and anything that stung me for that matter. And this was before I knew that yellow jackets don't have hives in trees, as is most wasps don't have hives in trees. No, they burrow underground. I learned that shit the fucking hard way. And it wasn't fun. It was funny. It was hilarious after the fact. I laughed my ass off. But I wasn't laughing at the time. You know, me being me, I'm a curious person. I'm like a kid. I don't give a fuck how old I get. I'm curious. I want to know stuff. I'm wondering why there's like 700 different looking wasps. You know, in New Haven, you see yellow jackets. You know, the ones that buzz around fucking like soda cans and trash cans in the park. The yellow ones with the little black stripes. Normal shit. Everyday shit. Or the big bumblebees that when we were kids, we thought that they made honey. You know, the big black ones, fuzzy ones with the black and the yellow. I thought they made honey. They was always in trees. They used to have the big yellow legs because they was always full of pollen. Found out they don't make honey. Well, they make honey, but I guess it's not as good as honeybee honey, you know, because I guess we don't eat it. Don't know. I learn something new every day. Honeybees actually are a lot smaller. They look a lot like yellow jackets, just fuzzier and cuter, actually. I know it sounds crazy, somebody calling a bug cute, but honeybees are actually cute for insects, which isn't saying much. Isn't saying much at all. Because, in my opinion, they're magnificent creatures. Terrifying, even. Cute? No. But for an animal or bug, they're cute. They're like the cats of bugs, you know? Except they don't do cute shit. They fly around and they get pollen. And they get fucked up. Oh my god, yo. If you want to see, like, flying bug life evil, go to an apple orchard or any fruit orchard for that matter, where sugar is around, because all of them love sugar. Everything loves sugar. Sugar is like the drug of all creatures. Every creature has to have it. It's like crack for the world. Sugar. I kid you not. Your bodies run on it. Sucrose, glucose, anything that ends in os, OSE, or COSE, I think it is. Fructose, sucrose. No, just OSE. Is a sugar. Anyway, enough of the science lesson. Back to the bugs. And the shit I used to see on this orchard. Don't remember the name of it. I want to say Bishop Mountain or Bishop Hill or some shit like that. But look it up. It's in Cheshire. I'm not making this up. I'm telling you the honest to God truth. It's across the street from Michael's greenhouse. Big, huge place that makes plants. It sells them in Home Depots and Lowe's. Neighborhood hardware stores instead of garden shops for whatever strange reason. I don't understand the connection between two. You know, I'd rather have my plants be with people who understand plants, not with some asshole who doesn't really feel like working today. I digress. You know, but the day I found out that yellow jackets actually lived underground, we had found this vine that was eating the fuck out of a row of apple trees. It was fucking them up. Like, it was terrible. Like, you could see the difference clearly in the quality of life of the tree through the fruit. Like, I'm not even joking with you. Like, some would be nice and shiny, you see all red, and you get to this one, it's like they're smaller fruit. Lots of them, but real small. Like, apples the size of cherries. And that's as big as they would get, which is terrible. It's a terrible harvest. Who wants a fucking cherry apple? Have you even heard of cherry apples? No, because they don't exist. Or maybe they do, and they just don't exist anywhere where I've heard of them. And I've seen some apples, people. Oh, Mutsu, apples the big as my head. And I'm not even joking. It seriously is the size of my fucking head. Huge. Trees were big too. Those I hated picking. 16-foot tall tree. You gotta climb in this shit. And these are what the fucking hornets and wasps loved. But as I was saying, we were picking this vine. It's growing, fucking up the trees. You know, we're pulling it. And of course, you know, my ass is yelling at the jackasses. It's like, dudes, you're not really going to do anything about this vine, pulling it from the top. You gotta get it at the root. Yes, go get some fruit. It's good for you, Millie. So, we're pulling this thing. I see the hornets and the yellow jackets, but they're everywhere all the time. When I tell you that I got stung an average of 10 to 15 times per day. That is not a lie. It's not a lie. They live in apples. Like, you see a hole in an apple, they'll have crawled in it. You'll go pick it, and you don't realize that the other side of the apple that's in the shade, which is where they'll usually go, is teeming with like 8 of them. You'll grab this apple and pick it. Then you go to put it in the fucking thing. Now you've got a nest of bees right below your fucking face in a basket you can't take off. You can't. It's not that easy, especially when it's full of freaking apples. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, you can just drop the apples out the bottom, but let the farmer fucking see you do that shit with 40 pounds worth of fucking apples? A bushel? Dude, you're getting off the farm, you're not coming back to the farm, and you're paying for those apples out of your paycheck. Yeah, it's that serious. You know, these motherfuckers gotta eat. They can't be having you dropping their fucking money on the ground. It's like literally what you're doing. So, as much as I wanted to jump, run, or any number of things to escape the 8 angry yellow jackets that had now realized that I pulled them out of their shady tree, were right below my neck. Right here. And I'm like, oh God, please. I'm at the top of this tree. I'm not in the ladder yet. I'll have safe footing. 16 feet up with 40 pounds of apples and a mad little nest of yellow jackets. They stung me in my fucking chin. 3 of them. Almost simultaneously. It hurt bad. Not bad enough like it was crippling pain hurt, but like, I've never been stung under my chin before. That shit was new territory for me. Made my tongue jump. When that happened, I lost balance. I fell off the fucking ladder. Straight down, back first. Boom! Fucking apples. All in my face. I'm landing on ground with, apples on the ground. So on these apples that are on the ground are more angry bugs that you have now disturbed. Wind's knocked out of you. Trying to get your bearings. Ladder falls over. Smacks your arm. Ah. Shit hurts. Because they're old school wooden ladders. 16-footer. Heavy. When it folds up together, both sides, almost broke my fucking arm. I'm laying there. It hurts. Stung up. Things are crawling on me now. Apples in my face. Can't really get up. Don't want to get up. Then, that's when I remembered the vine that we pulled the day previous that I was telling you about, how I realized that there were yellow jackets in the ground. Except see, that day wasn't when I realized it. Remember I said I saw lots of them buzzing about. Wasn't until the next day when I busted my ass and was laying there in that same very spot that I realized the little stump hole area that was left. There was like a fucking swarm of them going in and out very quickly. But I mean, so many of them that if I tried to count quickly, I would get up to maybe 50 and lose count because that's how many there were. And they noticed me and my apples that I crushed as they fell and I fell and then the ladder fell. Now remember, I like to work by myself, so there was nobody with me to help me up or pull the ladder off my arm. None of that shit. And here's this angry nest of yellow jackets that probably remembered me from the day before ripping the fucking roots out of their humble domicile. They stung me. So all in total that day, I was probably stung more times than I had ever been stung on the farm at all. And see, Yellow Jackets things don't make me swell up, so it's not like I could go to the damn... I mean, let's just put it like this. When you work on a farm, you go to them and say anything about getting bitten by anything. Bug, bird, fucking beaver, goddamn woodchuck. Shit, a dog could bite your ass. If it doesn't bite your arm off, you better shut the fuck up. Because you are going to get laughed right off that farm. Like, you got stung by a bee, motherfucker? And? Well, why are you telling me this? Well, because it hurts. And I fell out the tree and then more bees stung me. Yeah, well, you know, that's what it is, sir. Signed up for farm work. I did this 2 years. 2 different farms. Shit's terrible. Worst thing is, the day I found out why you don't eat more than 1 apple a day. Me being me, like I said, not wanting to leave the field. I wanted to be a good boy, sir. Out there picking them apples. Plus, it was way down at the bottom of the fucking property. We're talking like 6 acres away from the farmhouse, which is at the top of a big ass hill. No. It just doesn't make any sense. Walk all the way back up there to do what? Turn around and walk all the way back down? I used to just chill up under a tree, deal with the bees, listen to music, eat apples. Refreshing, juicy, full of juice. Kept me hydrated and full. And I ate like 30 of them one day. I mean, I was tearing these apples up. I was tearing them up. No mercy. If there was a such thing as apples being alive and shit, I'd have been like the Macintosh killer, because I was slaying them. And the Macintosh was like my favorite. So I would kill those apples. I mean, man, I'm telling you, I ate like a bushel one day. You know, I get on the bus. Everything's fine. Get on the bus. I get about to my house. Almost. Just not close enough. Pain hits my stomach. Boom. Like, oh. I mean, it was a bad pain. It felt like somebody stabbing me with a knife. I know this pain because I'm lactose intolerant. And that's usually the sign of impending doom. Anybody else who out there is lactose intolerant that still skirts with death when they have dairy products, like I do from time to time, like I did today when I went to Mr. Mac's Mac and Cheese. It was delicious. Sometimes it hits you, sometimes it doesn't. Well, this particular day, it was like having a lactose attack times 8,000 plus 2 million multiplied by infinity. I was scared to walk. And not because I thought I was going to shit myself, because it really literally felt like my stomach was about to just rip in half. It was terrible. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. It was almost home. Crawling, baby walking. I probably looked like I was shot or something, the way I was doubled over. And I remember, it was this toy dump truck. Kid toy, you know, toddler toy, this big yellow, red, orange dump trucks, Lego type shit, on the side of the house. Now I rang the doorbell. I tried. I really tried. You know, it was maybe 50 feet from a comfortable toilet with toilet paper and all that good stuff. But it was taking too long. I couldn't wait. What was I supposed to do? Shit myself? I pulled a Smokey from Friday. It was nighttime. I didn't think anyone was going to see me. And they didn't. They heard the noise. The loudness was explosive. I was surprised I didn't get launched off the fucking ground. I'm serious. It was terrible. And painful, too. I mean, it was the happiest shit of my life. I was never happier. The relief I felt afterwards was... But the embarrassment, the shame. You know, here I am. No toilet paper. The fuck am I gonna do? There's no toilet paper. I have my book bag. Inside my book bag is a shirt. I don't want to use my shirt. Damn it. But Can't walk around with shit ass cheeks. It just doesn't work that way. It's gross. It's nasty. Who would even think of this? I used a shirt. It was terrible. It's a nice shirt. I liked my shirt. But it had to go in the garbage. I'm sorry, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm just not too keen on wearing anything that's had shit on it that I know where the shit came from if I don't have to. And just washing it out doesn't wash out the memory of the shit that was on it that I know was there. It's terrible. It's a really nice shirt. I really did like that shirt. But I liked my dignity better, even though I lost most of it because, the neighborhood crackhead happened to hear the noises coming from inside of my house and for whatever strange reason wanted to investigate. Yeah, just like Ezel. That's why I said it was just like fucking Friday, except it wasn't Friday. It wasn't in Cali. And my name ain't Smokey. It's Omen. And this guy's name wasn't Darnell. It's Wayne. Anyway, he wasn't comical or whimsical or funny at all. He's a thief. He's probably trying to rob my house. Just so happened to see me on the side of the house shitting. What am I doing? Minding my own business, goddammit. What the fuck does it look like I'm doing? I should have asked him to bring me some toilet paper. That would have been the wiser thing to do. I probably wouldn't have had to use my shirt. But I mean, who's thinking about something like that when they're caught shitting on the side of their own house? How do you even explain that? I didn't want to explain it, so I didn't. I went in the house. Nobody knew about it until now. Unless I told you before now. Maybe I did. But if you didn't hear it before, now you've heard it. Now let's talk about today. I was driving by a cemetery, right? And I was told that in this cemetery lurks a band of ravenous wild turkeys that have learned to love the taste of flesh, rotten or fresh, whichever they choose. Now, I went looking for them. In the car, of course. Safety of metal against beak and turkey claws. You didn't see them. It was a strange reason there's like this big, huge, open like pit in the middle of this cemetery. It's weird. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. I'm actually gonna go back to the cemetery, folks. I'm gonna record this. I might post it on Insta. I might even do Insta Live. I'm not sure. It depends on the weather too. It's cold as shit up here and windy. It's like 2 days of really great weather. And then, just like New England does you. Oh, don't like the weather? Wait 5 minutes. Well, I did like the weather. I didn't like what happened 5 minutes later. No, I didn't. But anyway, I'm gonna go investigate these wild turkeys. There's been tales of couples going to mourn loved ones, disappearing, never to be seen again. It's not in newspapers or anything like that. I'm making it up to make it sound scarier than it is. But come on, let's think about it. Wild turkeys in a cemetery. They don't leave the cemetery. So what the fuck are they eating? It's a fucking cemetery. Wild turkeys eat vegetation and shit. There's no vegetation in a cemetery except grass. What kind of bugs live in a cemetery? I've never really seen too many bugs in a cemetery. Not enough to, take care of a huge population of wild turkeys that are as big as they are. And they are pretty big. You'll see when I post it. I promise you I will. Also, I plan on doing some tours of scary places. Paranormal type stuff. Except without, calling them to my ass. Telling them to, show themselves. I don't want to see them. I just want you to think you see them. You can put in your mind whatever you choose to. I'm not going to put that there. I don't want them following me around, Have to look over my shoulder for a ghost. He might be mad. Think I disturbed him from his eternal sleep, asking him to show himself. Only for me to, not see him. Imagine if I tell him to show himself, right? He shows himself. I'm not paying attention at the time. It took him, mad ghost energy to do it. And then, now he's up, can't go back to sleep, and I'm just, not seeing him. I'd be mad as fuck if I was a ghost. Like, I would haunt you for the rest of your life. I would follow you around. I'd follow you around because you woke me up now. You want to see me, now you're going to see me when you don't want to see me. All the time, you're going to see me. With your wife? Yeah, you're right there. Be right there. I'm going to turn into your wife. Like, my face is going to pop up while you're in your most intimate moments. Oh, boo. Oh. Then she's going to turn back into your wife and she's going to be like, what happened? What did you do? Why did you do this? And I'm going to laugh at you because you woke me up from my eternal slumber and sleep of ghostness. That's not right. It's not right. But yes, I am going to go to the cemetery. I'm going to find these turkeys. Because like I said, I've seen wild turkeys in the strangest of places. Schools, open fields even, marshes, land that's not fenced in and filled with tombstones and dead people. And it's like in the middle of the city. So there is no reason for these wild turkeys to be there. Because like I said, if you've ever seen wild turkeys, people, look them up. If you don't believe that there's a such thing, I know there's some people in the world that believe that half the shit that comes out of my mouth is bullshit. But it's not. I'm actually a pretty smart person. I've seen most of the things that I talk about in some shape, form, form or another, or read about them. I don't get all my information from the internet. In fact, I get very little information from the internet unless I'm actually doing research. I'm the touch it, feel it, taste it, kick it around type of guy. I like to get my hands on things, feel them, squeeze them, pinch them even, smack them around, slap it, But back to the turkeys thing. So, if I describe where I am, or that particular area, there's a prison, not far from there, a little jail. In fact, right across from the fucking cemetery is the jail. Then there's a main street, stores. There's another main street, another main street. There is not another huge field or wooded area for miles. But in the center of this cemetery lives a large group of wild, I'm going to call them zombie turkeys. They may not be zombie turkeys, but I think the fact that they live in a cemetery and they don't leave there makes them zombie turkeys. What are they doing there? They don't bury dead turkeys. They can't even hold shovels. At least I've never seen one hold a shovel. Have any of you seen them hold a shovel before? Is it possible for them to hold? Maybe they have little turkey shovels, right? They work with their little turkey claws. They can dig stuff. Maybe they just use their beaks. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, it's just weird. It's weird, and I'm going to investigate it. We'll call it Omen G Investigates Weird Shit. There'll be an episode on my YouTube channel. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to be bringing back some structure to the channel. I mentioned earlier. Also mentioned it on Instagram. I used to do this little show called Cooking with Omen when I was in Happy Times. I'm back in Happy Times now, so I'm going to do Cooking with Omen more. I cook a lot of stuff. It's tasty. As I like to say very often, delicious. I love that word. That word makes me happy for some strange reason. I do not know why. Every time I say it, it brings a smile to my brain. Delicious. Delicious. Anyway, though, right? Back to the investigation of the zombie turkeys. I'm gonna go there sometime tomorrow. I'm not going at night. This area has a lot of, shall we say, undesirable types of people. They roam the streets at night, begging for stuff that gets them in a way that's not in their brain. I'm trying to keep it a little PG-13. It's 9/16. I don't want to be swearing and stuff. But this is really good. So I'm gonna walk over there during regular business hours with my camera, maybe even the GoPro. I don't know. might need the GoPro. You never know. There might be some action sequences because I heard these turkeys are very territorial, and I've seen wild turkeys. They are territorial, but I'm thinking if your whole territory is a cemetery and you roam this entire cemetery, number one, why, and how are you all so big? What are you surviving off of? I'd like to know. And I'm going to find out. Maybe there's a pond down there and fish. And they eat fish. Or maybe they eat other birds. Maybe they're cannibal turkeys. And they just keep making more turkeys and then eating each other. Like, wouldn't that be crazy? You went into the cemetery during Thanksgiving and they pull out a turkey dinner. The turkey's eating a turkey dinner. That's fucking crazy. I think I'd like, I don't know what I would do. Maybe I'd sit down and ask them if I could join them. Maybe they cook turkey better than we do. Like, I mean, shit. They probably know better what cuts are the best. They grew up with the guy. They know where he's tender. I'm sorry. I have crude, really morbid humor sometimes. But yeah, cooking with Omen, which is me cooking stuff based on sometimes whatever I find in the refrigerator or in the kitchen. I usually don't have a plan. Yesterday on Insta I did Shango's chicken. That's right, Shango's chicken, which is a variation of curry chicken breast, carrots and spinach on the side though. But the carrots are in the actual dish with sweet peppers of the orange, red, and yellow variety, onions, garlic, ginger, root, freshly sliced, and cucumber, sauteed deliciously. And then you season the chicken breast and put it all together. A little oil, not too much, olive oil. I like olive oil with this. And then you make the Shango's sauce with, obviously, Shango Sears hot sauce, which you can only get from me. There is no such thing as Shango's or anything like it anywhere else. Because, you know, it's Now's brand hot sauce. Now's is my brand. So, if you're interested in Shango Sears, I might have some. But I actually sold a lot of hot sauce today, so yeah. I'm out of Flipside Sauce episode 3. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, those of you who are here from Flipside. I apologize. I tried not to sell it. I really did. But someone had a sample, and they bought the last 3 I had. I'm sorry. I still have episode 2, and I'm working on episode 4 soon. Next Monday, I start a whole new bunch of batches. Oh, yes. Scotch bonnets are in season. Bloodfire is coming back. Kissing Cousins is coming back. A few variants of the Blood of Chaos, Blood of Apophis, coming back. Some that are here now, Chaos Rising, Spirit of Omen. There's one called Sweet Fucking Misery, which is actually pretty sweet, but miserable, because it's hot. It tricks you into thinking that it's just going to be sweet. Like, it looks like strawberry quick, kind of, with little red flecks in it. It doesn't smell like strawberry quick at all, but it does taste pretty sweet at first. It's got a hint of heat, which kind of slowly creeps upward, but stops at a level. Now for the wimps, yeah, I called those who can't stand anything above, let's say, 500,000 Scoville, the wimps. I came up with a rather mild, I call it wild and mild. This is mild, but the flavor is wild. It tastes like it could be hot. It makes you think it's gonna be hot. Nice fruity flavors splash your tongue, but then it's not hot. So any of you that were hoping that wild and mild meant wild, and no, it's mild. I mean, I'm disappointed because I like to sweat when I eat hot sauce. I drink hot sauce. I love hot sauce. It's just wonderful. I'm telling you, it's a cure for everything. Well, not everything, but it is a cure for most things. Common cold, have some hot sauce. Don't waste your time putting on fried chicken. Drink it. What's wrong with you? Don't be scared. It's not going to hurt you. Not in the way you think it is. It actually is very healthy. Capsaicin is an anti-inflammatory. So, anti-inflammatories are good to have for a number of things. I have a lot of nerve issues. Pinched nerves in my neck. Not that much anymore. And it has the mutant X gene in it. Well, my sauce does. I don't know about everybody else's. It'll give you magical superpowers that you'll develop after 50 years. So don't expect to see anything now. But in 50 years, you'll be like, Magneto or maybe Wolverine. Cyclops, perhaps. Shooting laser beams out your eyeballs. Or that guy that screams, which I'd hate to be that dude. I would definitely hate to be that dude, especially if I was angry. Could you imagine? Like, oh, don't let Omen drink. He's got that screaming power thing and fucking start yelling and shit and fucking blow up half the goddamn planet. Fucking asshole. Eating with Omen. It's another show I used to do on Insta where I just eat and talk. And I guess they call that a bang muck bang gang buck, something like that, whatever. Mukbang, bang, whatever you call it. But I just eat and talk. Being bipolar, real talk, I know I have not done one of those in a very long time. And it's because I'm bipolar. We sometimes have these really great ideas and then we try them and they don't go over that well. And then sometimes we just back away from it because we're afraid. So I was afraid to continue to, expose myself. That didn't come out right. That didn't come out right at all. I didn't want to continue to put out certain things about myself because obviously you get people who don't know you and they want to use them against you. But then I figured, dude, you already zipped your pants halfway down. You've kind of already done yourself in, so you might as well just leave it alone. So yeah, I'm gonna bring that one back too, because now I can be more helpful. I can be more helpful, which was what the whole reason of even starting that thing was for, is to be helpful, not to rant and rave and potentially drive someone else like myself insane. It's not nice. Maybe we can call tonight's thing half bipolar real talk. And we can talk about it. How about that? That's what we'll switch over to. I've talked enough about silly things. No, let's talk about something serious. Let's talk about my apparent and very easily seen change in mood and affect. How much more calm I am. How much more relaxed. Put together. Not flattering all over the place. Normally I'm like this. I mean, I can be animated, I can be excited, I can be bouncing off walls. That's also how I am. But the angry part of it is not as often. Not to say that I don't get angry. I do get angry. I get very angry sometimes, but not as often. For me to get angry that often and for no reason is just stupid. Besides the simple fact that normally I would avoid drinking heavy quantities of alcohol because I am not a happy drunk. It seems like I'm going to be, but it never ends up that way. And so, being insane's definition is doing the same thing, expecting different results. I can't drink and have a good time. It just doesn't work. And it sucks to admit that sometimes because you feel sometimes that you have to do certain things that other people do in order for them to accept you or for you to feel like you're having fun. Quite frankly, that's not true. I mean, social drinking is social drinking. Meaning if I'm out and about and I may have a beer. Now, see, I can drink beer just fine. It doesn't do what liquor does. Liquor? No. Wine? Now I know. And maybe it was because it was cheap. Maybe Kilo had a point with this $6.99 thing. Because I drink wine up here and it does not do that to me. Or maybe it was just Connecticut, you know? Connecticut sucked. Connecticut sucked for me. I didn't like it. Like the horse from Ren and Stimpy. No, sir. I don't like it. So I decided to leave. I said I was going to leave. And I kept staying, dragging it out. I don't know why. I still really don't know why. I'm trying to figure it out. Because I didn't want to be there. I had left like 3 times that year. Once for like 3 months. It's like the happiest I had been that whole year. And then I went back. Like I needed to dip myself back into the acid of bullshit. I don't know. It's like, I guess it's what you call self-sabotage. You know, since I learned that there was a such thing as self-sabotage. I used to hear people say that shit all the time. Just like, you sound like you're one of those, like, you read a cover of a magazine and they give you 3 topics on it and you immediately think you're an expert. I took psychology in college for 2.5 years. I'm not saying that I know it all, but I know a good deal about it. That's why I went to school for it. So I could understand it. Not because I wanted to do anything with it. It's probably the biggest waste of money. But I learned. Which is mostly why I went to college in the first place. Just to learn. Not really to better myself for a job. I tried, doing like the child counseling thing. Like practice with it. And I just don't have the patience nor the professionalism to do it in a setting where I'd be expected to follow rules, because if somebody kept coming to me saying, oh, blah, 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 complaining about the same old thing, I'm going to be like, dude, it's the same thing with you all the fucking time. I mean, I can tell you what the state wants me to tell you, or I can tell you the truth. Which one do you want me to do? Medication doesn't work for everyone. Okay? It doesn't. Unless your objective is to become a mindless, emotionless zombie. Then yeah, it works just fine. Let's not mention the many health issues that are caused by most of these medications that they put people on. I did not like medication. I mean, I did at first because I wanted to get better. So I took all the different medications. Lamictal, trazodone, what else? Zyprexa, Risperdal, lithium. They gave me once. I didn't like that shit. Xanax, something else for anxiety, Ritalin. There's just so many of them. So many of them. And they put you on this shit and they tell you it takes time for it to build up in your system, which I've never understood. Like, they've got quick release stuff. They get this shit in there quick. It's the reason why it has to build up in your system. I think it's a build up bullshit, really, to have them fool you into thinking that it really takes that long, or fool you into thinking that it does anything at all. It could be a big study, placebo they give you, and they've got you thinking that it's really something when it's not. But I remember being on that combination of medications, and it would always switch. Maybe I was having a rash, or I couldn't sleep. There was one that gave me night terrors. That was fun. Waking up in the middle of the night screaming your fucking head off, afraid of impending doom. Some doom you have no idea what it is, but it scares you. Or the one I used to love, it could be freezing cold, but I would wake up soaked in sweat every single day, just completely soaked. I didn't know if I was happy or sad anymore. I just was. Woke up, did what I had to do, and I went to sleep. Then I would be torn out of my sleep by terrible dreams. Sex drive disappeared completely. It's just like, what is sex? What is anything? What is this medication that I'm taking? Is what I started to say to myself. I didn't like it. I didn't make music anymore. I didn't play games anymore. I didn't want to play with my kids. I didn't want to do anything. I just became this robot that went to work, came home, and did whatever he was told until he was told to go do something else. And that's what I did for like 3.5, 4 years. And I forget what ultimately fucked me up out of taking medication. It might have been the death of my grandfather, but I'm not 100% sure if I had quit before then. I may have. I probably didn't. It's probably the death of my grandfather. It's a very traumatic time for me. I mean, it didn't seem like it at the time, but after my grandfather died, everything in my life changed. Like all the people that I guess were pretending to give a fuck stopped pretending. They just stopped. It's like as soon as he left, I knew my home was long for me there. Like, it's the only reason I really went back to Connecticut in the first place from the first time I left was because my grandfather got into a terrible car accident, almost died, and I was just like, damn, I never said goodbye to him. In fact, the last thing I said to him was, keep your 2 cents to yourself. So I went home, and my dumbass got some stupid girl pregnant, who I thought I loved, and we had 2 kids, and I love my kids. Well, one of them. The other one knows. I don't hate him, but when I see you, it's a fair one, son. It's a fair one. That's all I'm going to say. And this time you don't have a choice. You don't get to decide that you don't get to fight me. No, you're going to fight. You're going to get it. It'll be fair. I'll tie one hand behind my back. Tie my good hand, the right one, behind my back. And I'll give you a stick, just like I offered you last time. If you've got a lot of mouth, I'd like to see you put your fists where your mouth is. Because I'm sure going to put my fist where your mouth is at. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about bipolar shit. Medications. Well, I remember clearly it was June. I remember the month that the medications, all the medications I was taking finally came out of my system. I was hallucinating. I was seeing shit. I was in the car with my mom one day and was dropping off a friend of mine, screaming at the top of my lungs, there's things around. She pulls over the car in the middle of 95 off to the side of the road, obviously, not in the middle of the highway, but you know what I'm saying. She's trying to calm me down. Then one time I thought there was something wrong with my son, so I dragged his ass to the hospital, and they're looking at me like I'm fucking crazy. They're about to commit my ass. And I realized that my friend's like, dude, you need to leave before I put you in the hospital. So I left. And I just remember one day waking up, and I didn't want to be awake. Like, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to live, but I didn't want to kill myself. It was just weird. It was hard to explain. It's just like there was no emotions, but then there was depression. Just, I don't know. I don't know. I can't explain it to you. I really can't. It just sucked. It took me like about a year to recover from not being on those meds and coming off from cold turkey like that. I had to go to therapy, and I was going every week, sometimes twice a week, talking to the doctors. You know, I had finally found a therapist that I was like could really, trust. So I thought, and it took a long time to find that. Before, because I couldn't find a therapist, I went to the medication. I just wanted a therapist. I didn't want to take the medication, but they kind of urge you to do so. Almost like they don't force you. But it's like once you're diagnosed certain things, the state of Connecticut's kind of like, it would be better if you do it this way. Anyway, I decided to go through therapy, and I found this wonderful therapist. She was great. Lisa Facito is her name. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. She and the doctor, they were talking about putting me back on meds, and I told them I really don't want to be on the medication. I don't want to do it again. I don't want to go back there. I didn't like what happened when I came off of it. It limits what I'm allowed to do. I couldn't work half the jobs I used to work because of it, and it sucked. I ended up getting a job working for 4 fucking years, sitting in a damn testing center, staring at a fucking security monitor for 9 hours a day. And it was the longest 9 hours a day in the longest 4 fucking years I've ever had in my life. It absolutely sucked donkey balls. There was no excitement to this job. Well, see, if I tell you what I found exciting, I'll be considered a terrible human being, or an asshole, or morbid. But the only time anything exciting happened was when, like, somebody left in an ambulance. Like, they got sick, or they were really nervous about the test and threw up all over the fucking place, or the fire alarm went off and we had to evacuate the building, or the time when someone made threats and these people thought that security meant that I was like actual protect you from something security. No. My job was to protect intellectual property. And that's what I explained to them. I don't have a wand to check for guns. You know you're not supposed to bring guns here. It's a government-sponsored test facility. I'm not allowed to bring a gun here. I bought knives. Just in case, there's only one exit. I'm not trying to be trapped. I figure if I'm a gunman, I'm going to shoot into the room with the most people. And they ignore the 2 jackasses potentially sitting to the side because they're going to be shocked. See, look, I'm from the hood, people. I've seen people get shot before. I'm not going to be shocked. I'm going to be jumping at him with the knife, stabbing him under his armpit really quickly, and running for my life. I'm not trying to save anyone if it means me dying, unless it's someone who I care about. And this particular point in time, those people are few and far between. I care about people I don't see, and you guys are cool. I don't have any problems with any of you out there in TV land or YouTube world or whatever the fuck world it's called, or whatever dimension people want to call it these days. It's from where I left. I don't really care too much about most of those people. Anyway, after the whole thing with the finding the therapist and identifying the issues and getting a good regimen in, she leaves because she's having a baby. So, bam. No more therapist. Then, bam. I lost that job that I had sitting around away from people because they had a tendency to say stuff to me that I didn't like. And, like, because we were always on camera and we couldn't yell or be loud because then these people could complain, I never got to say what I had to say at the time. And, of course, no one's going to just step outside because you can't. You're stuck there for 9 hours. We didn't even get lunch breaks. Like, dead serious. We're the only job that's, like, because of the government stipulations, they didn't have to give us lunch. Nope. Lunch break, nigga. You serious? What do you mean lunch? Lunch where? Lunch leave? Lunch? No. 2 of you on all times. No lunch. No lunch. Hated that shit. But yeah, I got fired because one day, the owner comes in and tries to say some shit. She said to me, she said she gives me breaks gratis. Gratis. Of course, this stupid bitch, this Wharton Business School, thought that I was an uneducated jackass that she hired for some strange reason. She didn't check my educational background, which I went to Worthington Hooker School and was in Head Start before that. St. Peter's Catholic School, kindergarten. Then I went to a private school for about 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th grade. One of the most prestigious ones in the state of Connecticut. Still owe money. Probably told you guys this before, but I'm just going to tell you again for those of you who don't know me. I went to Gateway, and then I went to Charter Oak State College. I took classes at the Connecticut School of Electronics. I can build things, component-based electronics that you can't, that aren't manufactured. I can make stuff. I just don't. Because I don't want to. A lot of people, why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? I don't want to. I don't want to do any of those things. Fix computers. I can fix cars too. Fix TVs, refrigerators, washing machines, all that shit. Don't like to do it. I just don't. I can draw. I can write. I do those things when I feel like doing them. What I like doing right now is making hot sauce. Because I like hot sauce. I like to consume hot sauce. I don't buy art, so why do I want to waste my time drawing it all day? I don't buy music, so I'm not going to waste my time making it all day. I like to make it when I like to make it. Simple as that. I don't want to make money off of it. It's not... It's personal, I should say. You know, like everybody says, oh, everything is for sale. Well, no, my music is not. I don't give a fuck who you are. You can come to me right now. I wish somebody would actually test this theory. I really wish someone would. I would love the day that I could live YouTube my refusal of money for my music, especially if it's by someone I don't like. I'd rather you just use it if you're going to use it in good faith that it's going to do something great. But if you're just going to like spit some nonsense about things that either I don't care about or support on my music, then I'd rather you not do that. And so I'm not going to sell my music. It's not for sale. But I will sell hot sauce. Why? Because I want you to enjoy it and I can't do it for free. That's why. I come up with another flavor every freaking day. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's crazy. I see fruits and peppers and I want to combine them in strange ways like a mad scientist. What is wrong with this man? Is he crafting hot sauce? Yes, in my cauldron. Put pigtails and puppy dog snouts, fingernails and toenails. Yes, the toenail juice. Pour it in there. It's delicious. Peppers. I love peppers though. I really do. Like, I like the way they look. There's just something about them. They're so artful to me. Like, if I could live in a field of all the different chili peppers that I have seen and then die there, I would have died in heaven. As long as there's like 6 bottles of hot sauce around me, take them with me and splash them on my heavenly cloud, eating it as I float up. And then St. Peter will say, oops. Wrong elevator, sir. You're on that side. If there is a such place, who is to decide where any of us go? I think we spend too much time getting caught up in the details, you know. It's a general compass. Points 4 different ways. 8 if you look at the in-betweens. That's why there's 8 points on the Star of Chaos. There's 8 different directions. Now, if you wanted to split between it, then you're an idiot, because there's truly 8 different directions. North, northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest, and then the center. Don't try to confuse things with complex nonsense. The world is complex enough as it is. Maintaining the balance of normalcy is a feat unattainable, in my opinion. There is no normal. There is normal now. Because what's normal now was not normal 15 to 20 years ago. So, not to rant, because I don't want to do that anymore, about things that I don't like. It doesn't change anything. My voice alone changes nothing. Now, collectively, just like the collective voice that canceled Dr. Seuss books, Rest in peace. And I see they're going after Disney, but that's a fight they won't win. Because they're going to still buy most of what Disney makes. Which, if you think about it, what doesn't Disney own these days? Marvel, DC next. Star Wars. ABC, I think they own that, right? They own your news, they own your entertainment. And I used to love Wall-E. I loved him. Thought it was a cool cartoon. Fat ass humans sliding around like blobs. It was great. Little robot falling in love with an egg-shaped robot. Probably have like little egg-shaped babies with treads. It's interesting. Rocket ships, lasers and things. Humans coming back to Earth, where there's a gravity, and somehow being able to walk their fat asses onto a planet with gravity. I found it strange. They should have collapsed upon themselves and turned into blobs that couldn't walk. But hey, it's a cartoon. We don't want to get too dark. Do we, Disney? Do we, Disney? Anyway, yeah, cops are still killing people. Cops are still getting off for killing people. Cops are still saying really screwed up things about what people or cops should do because people are tired of what they already do to people. And then we as people forget that cops are people. They're just people with badges and guns and authority to use guns in ways that they shouldn't be able to. And then they have a whole legal system that tries to cover up what they do because, people think it's because, oh God, the sense of law and order, we must control them with the police. No, it's because, think about it like this, right? If we were to treat police officers in a way that was conducive to the way they treated us, and it was accepted, then that means that would be acceptable for politicians and everything else. They can't have that. We have to have order. But order shouldn't be something forced. You can't force order. Order happens. Just like chaos happens. You don't force chaos. You can't force chaos. It's a natural occurring force. So water. Let's think of chaos and order, right? Let's look at it. Water in its nature is chaotic. There's currents, subcurrents, cross currents, freaking sinkholes in the middle of the ocean, whirlpools. All of that is chaos. Chaos. But when you look from a distance at this water, it is peaceful. It is tranquil. In that chaos, there is the order of life. Things happen. Water moves from one place to another and brings nutrients and warmth and freshness, and currents allow fish to travel to different places and migrate, bring food to other ecosystems. So it's a whole complex thing. It's just like life. You can't just normalize things, except for music. Normalize it so that everything plays on the same levels. But we're not talking about digital shit. We're talking about real life. So, when people get all bent out of shape about little things, that's like me throwing a pebble into the ocean, right? I throw this pebble into the ocean, and somehow I'm upset that it hasn't caused a tidal wave to splash back on the shore. That is the insignificance of an individual's problem when compared to those of the world. Now, I say that to say this. Stop bitching about little things. Dr. Seuss is not that important. Even banning Disney is really not that important. The only reason I even bought Disney up was because if you're going to go after one, you have to go after other. But why go after any of it? What are you really changing? All you're doing is limiting the things that they allow us to see. You're limiting things that people will be willing to say. You're limiting the truth. What you're basically doing is limiting the truth. You're limiting history, which is foolish. If one chooses to read something that's maybe offensive to others, shouldn't they be able to? What if an author writes a book in his home? It's a terrible book. talks about killing rabbits. Not for the purpose of eating them or even wearing their fur. Just for the pure purpose of killing rabbits. That's it. Just because they want to kill rabbits. Like, what would you do? Would you want to go to this man's house and find his stash of rabbit killing books and tell him and anybody else who may want to read about killing rabbits that they can no longer read about killing rabbits? You do realize what happens when you prohibit people from doing things. It's common history. The more you prohibit, the more people are going to try to do it. It's a balance that has to be maintained. I'm not saying you should just let people do whatever the fuck they want. You can't do that either. It doesn't work like that. There's a balance. We as normal human beings sense that balance. We also, unfortunately, sense when that balance is off. Now, that's not to say that when the balance is off, that means crazy things happen. Crazy things can happen when the balance is too far one way. The thing is, we as human beings do not know. What we do know is that uncertainty scares us. And we do know that as people, when we are uncertain, we often will blame the first things that we see that we can hold tangible as something offensive. Like, let's say me, for instance. Let's use me as a perfect example. Right now, I'm speaking to you calmly and collectively and with intellect. I'm trying to enlighten you. Now, if I were to, in 2 seconds, go drink some alcohol and then come at you and scream at you in incoherent, drunken babble, you're not going to listen to what I'm saying. In fact, you may never listen to anything that comes out of my mouth again. Right? Now, I'm just an individual, right? Just an individual. I have no real say in anything, so it's easier for you to say, I'm going to ignore this guy, I'm not going to feed into this guy. Now, let's use something like, I don't know, the U.S. government. I'm free to talk about them as long as I'm not saying anything horrible or foolish. I don't believe that we don't need a government. I just believe that people should stop complaining about it because none of us are really doing anything about it. None of us. And I'm not saying that we need to do anything like Capitol because we don't. That solved nothing. It just made it worse. And the funny thing is, a lot of the people that ran into the Capitol were either current or former law enforcement, which makes you wonder. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? And you probably say to yourself, what does it make us wonder, Omen? That there were cops involved? No. 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 How much freedom are the rest of us going to lose now? Because of an act that wasn't really meant to do anything but strip freedoms away. Now, we all know. We've seen it. The military general has even confessed and talked about it. It's not a secret. Black Lives Matter and other groups, Antifa and other groups, or other rioters or protesters that they just didn't feel like being bothered with, they weren't having that shit. Or the other groups just weren't as organized as this one was. But there was no intention on killing the Senate. There was no intention on killing the Democrats. That was all a big fucking show for all of us. So that they can, A, keep us separated, and you ask yourself, like, I don't understand why no one sees it. You know, and it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, whether you like Trump or you don't. I don't like politicians, period. I don't care what damn party you're in. As far as I'm concerned, you're all idiots. You talk a lot of shit. You're sociopaths because half the decisions you make cost people lives. Ted Cruz, your decisions cost I don't know how many Texans their lives, But yet no. The decisions politicians make cost lives every single day. But we don't call them murderers or killers or terrorists. We call them politicians. Their lack of action often leads to more damage than action that they do. And it's weird. But it's politics. And I don't like politics, so I'm not even going to talk about politics. I do know that it was a long day today, very productive, and I'm glad that you guys, if anybody came to check me out. Millie, thanks for coming. I don't know who else is here. A lot of times people don't say anything, which is cool. You don't have to talk. You can be quiet. I'll talk. Now, it is 9:58. And although I've gone live once, I'm in a much better place now. My internet works, so whether anyone comes on tonight or not, I will either be doing a premiere of a video, which I'm not sure yet, or I might just go live and do a scary story, because I want to talk about these zombie turkeys. These zombie turkeys that have been lurking. They're lurking. They're waiting for us. And it scares me what I might find in that cemetery tomorrow. Might be bones of dead bodies, or potentially the evil. Like, what if there's a wild turkey shaman or shaman, whatever? You know, I've been correcting on how you say Naruto all day. It's Naruto, not Naruto. Like, who fucking cares? I say Naruto better than you guys can speak fucking English, some of you. Goddamn fucking travesty. Join me later on tonight, where I'll tell you about the zombie wild turkeys, or the wild zombie turkeys, or the turkeys of Valley Cemetery. And tomorrow I'm gonna go there. I promise you I will. You see how creepy this place is? Some of those stones are old as shiznizzle. For rizzle. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing around, man. It's a lot of scary things. I like scary stuff. It intrigues me. I hope it intrigues y'all, because that's another one of the things I'm going to be doing, some scary shit. Of course, I'm going to keep on doing stupid scary stories, because I just have fun doing stupid scary stories about what if situations. So, like I said, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to call it a live for now. And if anybody decides to come back later, I'll see y'all at 11. When the ghosts come out. The witching hour is still a few hours away, but, you know, stuff happens at 11 o'clock. Right? I mean, if it doesn't, we can make it happen. But yeah, thanks for coming out, y'all. It's been more fun lately. I hope to keep having fun with y'all.